All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man, Jay Wills. So, this is the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus's review, March 2018. Now, I've got a lot of smartphones, and this is one of my best smartphones for camera footage. I've been using this phone a lot for 4K at 60 frames per second videos on the channel, opposed to the iPhone, and I just really enjoy this phone. So I'll start with cameras. The cameras on this device, absolutely fantastic. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about whether it's too saturated, or I think when it comes to something like that, that's definitely a matter of preference, because some of you guys don't like a lot of saturation, and it depends on your eyes, whoever you are. There's some people out there who will look at the photos that are produced from this camera and say, oh my gosh, that is absolutely gorgeous. It's so accurate. And then there's a ton of other people out there who will look at it and say it's not very accurate. So that's why I say it's kind of one of those things where it's definitely subjective. But to me, the cameras on this phone are superior to all of my other phones that I currently have in my catalog. Now, that doesn't mean that they're winning by a long shot. It just means that these cameras, front and rear, are actually very solid. I just don't have a complaint about it. So that is where I wanted to start, to get that out of the way. Cameras on this thing are great. I really like the design of this phone because they've changed it up here with just the rear. Now, this is definitely the same as the current Galaxy phones. They changed this to matte, and that's pretty much it. The design is identical. It's like exactly the same as before. They just listened to their consumers and did it this correct way. So the design of this phone isn't anything new. It's not anything groundbreaking, but they listened to the consumers, and that's what's important. The screen on this thing is a 6.2-inch Quad HD display, Super AMOLED, and this is something that Samsung is just known for getting right. There's absolutely no way you could tell me that this phone is not beautiful when it comes to watching movies and content and things like that. So let me fire up a video real quick and show you what I mean. Welcome the newest member of the family. Sorry if it's a little windy out. Try to catch them. I was supposed to be going to a car show this morning, so I wanted to shoot a quick video on this car first. But this is the 2018 Dodge Charger with Super Tri Pack. As you can see, it's got some of you guys said do more videos on cars. I try to not do a lot of car videos on my channel anymore, but if you look back, if you check back, you'll see that I used to do a lot of car videos when I first started YouTube, but so I play different content there, so you can get some sense of how good these speakers are, how beautiful the screen can be. And all those videos were shot, with the exception of that last one there of my 300. The other two videos were shot outside, no external microphone. But the other video with the Black 300 was shot with the Galaxy Note 8. But the other two videos, my Charger and Challenger, those were shot with the Galaxy S9 Plus, no filters. So the beautiful screen and the speakers on this thing give you a great media consumption device. Depending on how big you want to go on screen, I personally like the Galaxy Note 8 for my media device, even though it doesn't have, when I'm comparing the two, even though it doesn't have the dual speaker setup. Sure, the Galaxy Note 9 will. But for now, this phone has topped my speaker list as well, beating out my Axon 7. But the Axon 7 is 2 years old, and it's still just under this phone for speaker quality. So, and that's subjective too. But the phone is definitely a phone that for media consumption, the beautiful screen and speakers play a part in how you're going to enjoy this phone. When it comes to performance, I'll be honest here, and I'll probably be the only one or one of the few, or the 1% to tell you, the Snapdragon 835 up to the Snapdragon 845, I don't see any difference. I don't see any difference in performance. I don't see any difference in like lag or anything like that, because there is no lag, for one, on my Galaxy Note 8, and there's no lag on the Galaxy S9 Plus. I'm not having any screen issues. I'm not having any problems with this device. And, they both, the Galaxy Note 8 and the Galaxy S9 Plus, 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs onboard storage. It's just the difference in processor. And again, I don't see any difference in performance at all throughout my regular day of use with this thing. So You be the judge. If you have them both like me, you tell me if you see a huge jump in performance from the Note 8 using the 835, or even the S8 Plus using the 835. And I'm saying the Note 8 is because I don't have an S8 Plus anymore. But if you use the S8 Plus and you have the S9 Plus, do you really see a huge jump in performance? Probably not. But if you say you do, hey, more power to you. But hey, I don't know, even though it's running on 4 gigs of RAM or 6 gigs of RAM, Samsung software is super heavy. But at the same time, I think they're getting onto something with Samsung Experience where it's not too bad. So, it's subjective. You might have lag on your S9 Plus. I don't have any on mine. Battery life is where I was kind of disappointed with this phone, and not in a bad way. I just thought I was going to get great battery life out of a 3,500 milliamp hour battery inside of this thing. I really thought that it was going to hammer home and give me much better battery life than the Note 8, but I was just sadly mistaken. It doesn't have super powers when it comes to the battery. I'm getting my 4 to 5 hours of screen on time on every charge, and it's making it about 22 to 24 hours. So, that battery life is always going to depend on the user. Overall, though, folks, I just wanted to shoot a quick review of this phone. It's absolutely great. Would I recommend it over several phones? Of course. Even the price, I kind of agree with the price, man, because of all the promos, and it came in at $719 and $839 for this Plus model. That's fantastic. It's a winner in its own. So you do the math on what you want to decide, if you think something's good for you. I think the pricing of this phone is actually pretty fair. I'm just disappointed with the battery on it, It does have a headphone jack, an iris scanner, facial recognition, heart rate monitor, water resistant, IP68. I mean, this thing is loaded up. There is nothing that this phone doesn't have in my book when it comes to a hard hitter, except for that weaker battery than I was expecting. I'm ready for these flagship devices to pack in batteries like all these phones over here with like 4,000 and 5,000 milliamp hour batteries, and some of them are thinner than this phone. So that doesn't matter. You can give us those big batteries so we can get to enjoy these powerhouses like we should. So, this is a win-win for me. I'm saying? It's not the perfect phone, but it's still a great phone. So it's your man, Jay Will. What do you think about the Galaxy S9 Plus? Here's a review as of March 2018. Maybe I'll follow up later like I always do and let you know if something's going on with it, or if it's improving, or if battery life is getting better. I don't know. But stay tuned for a review of the Galaxy S9 as well on the channel. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.